as I change my soul, my words, I change the fabric of reality and time. And I am you. And as I recognize what we do and hold in love the things we are, I change our lives. I am the earth. And as I recognize my worth, I heal my body and my heart, I heal the land. And I am a soul. And as I recognize I am whole, just as I am, without a doubt, that what's within is what's without, I change our lives. No more. What do I do about it, or what do I think about it, or what can I take from this now? The world could use real help. I need to love myself. I need to figure out how to live in my purpose and give it in service of this that I know in my soul. So I offer you all of me, 'cause I trust what you take from me will only help heal us both. Heal us both, yeah, 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 yeah. I am relief. I am total inner peace. I am a cog in the machine, but the machine was always me. I am awake, and I am no longer afraid to see the things inside of me that made me sleep. I am myself. I am wisdom, power, health, and I will choose to spend this lifetime being me. And I am one, oh, with this new world we've begun, one where our bodies, minds, and souls are truly free. No, no more. What do I do about it, or what do I think about it, or what can I take from this now? The world could use real help. I need to love myself. I need to figure out how to live in my purpose and give it in service of this that I know in my soul. So I offer you all of me, 'cause I trust what you take from me will only help heal us both. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. In the shadow of the turning, I find the echo of my heartbeats, keeping time with the earth tribe. In the space between starlight, in the shadow of the turning, I find the echo of my heartbeats, keeping time with the earth tribe. In the space between starlight, no more. What do I do about it, or what do I think about it, or what can I take from this now? The world could use real help. I need to love myself. I need to figure out how to live in my purpose and give it in service of this that I know in my soul. So I offer you all of me, 'cause I trust what you take from me will only help heal us both. Heal us both. My pandemic was internal first, to awaken me to the kingdom that is within me. I'm so proud of how much I was and wasn't today. Enough is enough, measuring my self-esteem with how much I do and be. I'm enough. I won't ever apologize, for I am that I am. Enough said. I know love is real because I exist, and I'm full of it. I'm seeing that more and more each day. I'm a Sunday sunrise. I marvel how far I've come to rise from my dark nights. Grateful for the grief that softened my pace. I'm grateful for the betrayal that made me listen to myself. At this point, everything feeds my growth. I promise to create the love within myself that I never received in this country, in my family, in my community, in relationships. I keep that promise to myself. I know my mind's health is about seeing who I am. I open my spirit to realize what has been hidden from me about my truest identity as a cosmic being, expressed as a woman being. I come from Aboriginal woman. She's the mother of all humanity. I see her in every human woman. I give all my ideas about who I am, about security and stability. I surrender to the great I am in deep devotion. To see, I'm realizing I'm a sovereign being, commanding from internal flow, not external force. No matter the mental challenges that occur, I know it is a part of the process. I'm learning my conditioning. I'm awakening to spirit. My ancestors are with me. Remembering, I embrace the elements of earth as a part of my existence and being, because it is a part of who I am. I have a dynamic way of thinking, feeling, knowing, living who I am. I hear that real change begins with observing myself and able to say this is not who I am. I am seeing who I am. I am that I am.
You're on mute, Carolyn.
Funny. Got to show that I know how to do this. Welcome, beloveds. So glad we're here. Welcome, Rebecca. Welcome, Sweet Tea. I'm here with my dear Ghana, who wanted to join in for a while.
Hi, Ghana.
Good to see you. Good. Do you remember Sweet Tea? Good to see you, Eileen. And welcome, Tracy. I'm not sure if we know each other or not, but so glad you're in the house. I would love to invite us. Hi, dear Tracy. I'd love to invite us to all unmute ourselves and welcome one another into this space.
Good morning.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Grand Rising.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, all. We're going to gather here and do an empowered practice, a meditation today from Joe Dispenza. I'm going to lead. That's something new. And our theme today is creating from within, being defined by a vision of the future. But before we jump in, I would love to just hear, how are we arriving? How are we faring this season of trials that our nation is going through? I will open the floor to you, and if you would like to share some way that you are celebrating yourself this morning, I would love to hear that too. So welcome, dear ones. I'd love to hear from you.
Hello, blessings, everyone. I can go ahead and jump in and kick us off. My name is Tracy T Spirit. Some people call me. I use she, her pronouns. I am celebrating myself today by laying in the bed with my nieces who spent the night with me yesterday. We had a beautiful,
Aw.
amazing time. I'm also in the bed on Sunday morning, and I'm on Spirit Rising with y'all. And I've been reading The Art of Life by Ernest Holmes this morning. So it's beautiful that you talked about creating from within. I really value and appreciate this book. So yeah, gratitude to the Most High. I have a standing meeting on Sunday mornings at from 11 to 12:30, so that's why I usually never make it. But I'm here because I didn't go to that meeting because I'm kicking it with my nieces. So, yep,
Oh,
that's what I got. Glad to be in space with y'all.
welcome, dear Tracy. Tracy, do you know others in this Spirit Rising circle? Because I don't think we've met before.
Yeah, I know everyone else in the Spirit Rising Circle that's on this call right now. I am a part of,
Everyone
yeah,
but me,
yeah,
probably.
everyone with you. But I believe I've heard of you. I know a lot of people that are frequent in and out this space. I'm also a member of the Black Healers Collective, a creative
Oh,
in St. Louis, an organizer, and a few other things. But right now, I'm just a spirit that's connected
yeah.
with other spirits. So it's nice to meet you, Carolyn.
Well, really nice to meet you. And I'm from a family tradition that was rooted with Ernest Holmes and the whole Christ consciousness movement. My grandparents were reading Ernest Holmes to me all the time, so that's cool that you're reading Ernest Holmes.
Yep,
And it goes right in with what we're doing today.
it
So
does.
welcome warmly, and
Thank
welcome to
you.
your nieces as well. Glad that you can get some
Hi.
slow time this Sunday
Hi.
morning. Hello, hello, hello.
We
Anyone
were
else? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's been so beautiful. We've been reading I brought them some books back from Ghana just about African princesses and African warriors, and it's just been a beautiful time. This has been a beautiful time. She said she wanted to stay here in the bed
So
with me
powerful.
and relax because it was calming. And she reminded me to meditate this morning. So, I'm full. I'm full. Okay, I'll pass.
I'm it's so meaningful that you to know that you got to travel to Ghana and bring back that richness to the next generation. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Well, welcome, Rebecca, Sweet Tea, Eileen. I'd love to hear how are you? How are you faring in these troubling times? And anything you want to celebrate. Any personal triumphs, I would love to hear as we begin.
Good morning. Good morning. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, hear you good.
Awesome sauce. I am feeling really excited. I leave for my trip tomorrow, and I got to see Tracy yesterday at the Jazz Crawl in our friend Khan's space, Red Chair Studios, and our lovely beloved human Paisha Anderson was on the mic, and um, my guy Britt with his ensemble, the Ish Ensemble, and it was just, and Jay Marie was tooting their horn on the sax, and it was just like amazing to see the community come together to celebrate art and to be in joy. And I was really happy to share some words on the mic when they opened it up to some other poets, and I hadn't read those out loud, so that was really um, fun and refreshing. And yeah, um, I miss Tess. When I see Tracy, I'm reminded of Tess. And I'm wanting to send her lots of love on their travels down to the Southwest. And happy I got to see them off. And I released the latest issue of the Witchy Report yesterday, Out of Office number 15. So it's online and it's free to share. Um, there's some really great articles in there about rituals of rest and the revolution in Nepal, and a House of Priority Pyramid by my friend Ellen the Red. So I'm super stoked that I got that out before my trip. And I'm just focusing on packing. And so far, my flights aren't canceled, which is like a huge blessing because,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
we need to pay our aviation workers. We need to
Oh,
pay,
we do.
everybody needs to eat. So, I'm like, if my flight gets canceled, my flight gets canceled. But so far, so good. So, yeah, I'm feeling really blessed and I'm really thrilled to join you all this Sunday and talk about um, creating new paths and dreaming together. Thank you.
Mhm. Eileen, you seem to be in such creative flow these days. Amazing. I'm so thrilled by your trip to Singapore. And in a moment, am I welcome to bless up your trip here in a minute? Yes. Okay, so I'll be doing that as I open Sacred Space, and please send me a link to the is it called the Witch Report, or how do you name the zine?
The witchy report, like the weather report.
Which, okay, yeah, please send a link to the Spirit Rising community so we can all download that. Really thrilled you're here and for your trip. Thank you for sharing. And oh, there we go. Thank you. And anyone else, Rebecca, Sweet Tea, I'd love to hear from you. How are you this morning? How are you faring? Anything you want to celebrate?
Good morning, family. It is so
Morning,
good to
family.
see you, though you can't see me right this minute. I am faring well. We are in a hotel in Chicago. My brother-in-law just got married last night, and so it's beautiful to be with our people. So my husband's middle brother, and my husband was the best man, and my daughters were bridesmaids, senior bridesmaids, and it was so beautiful, you all. I'm just reminded about how family is um is insulation. It's like emotional and psychological insulation, and whether or not that's family by marriage or family by blood or family by choice, right? Just bonds, deep and thick bonds of relationship. Um, that's stability, that's nourishment, that's life.
That's right.
So we
That's
just
right.
finished having a whole lot of fun. And then I slept late because I
Mm,
wasn't in St. Louis. So couldn't nobody make me do nothing. And had no meetings to go
mm,
to except Spirit Rising. I've had to work these last couple of weekends on the road and doing retreating kinds of things. And while it's been amazing and wonderful, you know, it's also not rest. So I slept
yeah.
in after dancing all last night and
Mm,
watching my babies come down the aisle and crying. I just cried when I saw my girls. I was like,
mm,
I I don't know that I'm ready. I'm not ready. They're ready because it's life. But they were looking all young lady-ish. And I'm like, but these about that
yeah.
age. And they in gowns and heels and you know,
Wow.
and Sage was strutting and Willow was confident and they had these young men in their arms. I was like, mm, you know, y'all can go sit down somewhere. But the young men were in their tuxedos um and they had a good time. I think that's the most
Wow.
important thing, is that there was so much love and abundance of love and goodwill, goodwill. And that's so important. I think that's all I want to say today, but like we need that kind of feeding on a regular basis
Mm,
of goodwill and an abundance of love. So thanks for letting me
yes,
share.
yes.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah. Your sharing is a transmission of food for the soul. right? Because this is the soul food we need in this time is love and goodwill and good times and deeply rooted relationships. So glad you're feasting on that. Thank you, Rebecca. Sweet Tea, anything you want to share?
Yeah, well, I will ditto what Rebecca said. That's family is insulation, or community is insulation. That really struck a chord with me, and I know it's so important. I have had some, which is good. I have had some little wins over the last few days, um, which has buoyed my spirits and my confidence. Uh, and I also, um, as you know, I've been trying to write my memoir. I came up with another idea for my memoir, and had fun being able to write another pitch. And it just came to me, and it really was inspiring to be able to uh, write this little piece and get inspired again, because I haven't been writing on my other piece of my memoir. And so um, it brings me a little bit of confidence again. So that's what I'm trying to build. So
Hmm. Glad for these experiences that are building your confidence and inspiration in this new angle that has you excited about your work and about bringing this forward for all of us. Welcome, dear Sweet Tea. Well, welcome, Spirit Rising family. We're such a sweet little circle today. So glad we're all here. I'm going to begin with a prayer. So I invite you to join me and pray in whatever way nourishes your heart and soul. Let's just begin with a few deep breaths here. We breathe in the love between us, and we breathe out warm welcome to one another. We breathe in the peace that holds us, and we breathe out warm greetings. And we breathe in the all is well that is here. Divine Spirit of love and of liberation, we open our hearts to you. We welcome your presence here. We rest back in your holding. We gather here rooting in our belovedness, rooting in the beauty and gift of life, rooting in confidence, in creative flow and inspiration, rooting in gratitude. We give praise for all the blessings in our life and the health that allows us to gather in these ways. We give praise that we're here in a circle of love and care. We gather here in deep commitment and passion to be in this world in a good way, in a liberating way, in a thriving way. May we begin here today in how we gather. And we gather here in celebration of Eileen's journey to Singapore and the ancestral healing that she is doing, and all of the backstory that prepares you, Eileen, for this moment. You're not just falling into this trip. You've been preparing for this trip. Your life journey has been preparing you for this trip. Your ancestors have been preparing you for this trip. In your ever ripening spiritual maturity and emotional maturity are preparing you for this trip. And so it is time. This is the right time, dear Eileen, to be doing just what you're doing on behalf of your people, on behalf of your soul's destiny, on behalf of your creative unfolding. You are doing the right thing in the right timing. And we call upon your most benevolent ancestors and guides to clear the path. May Eileen's travels go with ease and safety. May she be held by the greater web of life and by her guides. May there be ease, may there be serendipity, may there be creative flow, may there be healing. We bless this trip and we bless this space between us and this time of conscious co-creating our own realities. Blessed be this sacred space. So glad we're together. Doesn't it feel good to bless up Eileen's trip? Aren't we enthused? Aren't we eager to receive her on the other end and to receive the story? Please, Eileen, let me know if you want to do a spirit rising on your trip. I would love to help you design that, to share, the creative process you're in. That could be next month's, if you would like. Well, friends, I was going to lead one thing today, and then last minute I decided to lead another. So I'm going to lead something about conscious co-creation here, or creating from within. And I want to begin by just sharing this little anecdote from my week. Um, on Friday of this week, I had a moment of awakening. You ever have a moment where you just shift out of one consciousness and into another and feel so much relief? Just so much relief. And you're like, oh yeah, different plane now. And this is also what's described as a miracle in the Course in Miracles, is when we can shift out of one plane of consciousness and into another. And I had been for a few days like just feeling some negative feelings of unwantedness and everything like that, as a result of having gotten into a conflict with someone that didn't go well. And I was feeling feelings of fear of losing connection, and fear of like, it just, I don't know if people even want me here. I might as well leave. It's kind of how I was feeling. So I my consciousness began to shift when I read these words by Eileen Caddy that I'm going to read to you. And here they go. I hope you enjoy them. Eileen is someone that Eileen Caddy that channeled different writings from her connection to the divine. And this is the passage. I will keep in perfect peace the one whose mind is stayed in me. Simply know, beloved, that all is very, very well. No matter how things appear outwardly, you must have implicit faith that everything is in my hands and all is working out perfectly. I want you to hold on to this through thick and thin, through rough and smooth. It is your faith that will manifest on the outer plane the perfection that is on the inner plane. Have faith in my perfect plan, faith that I am always with you, faith that everything is in my hands. Can you do this? Can you hold the all is well before you no matter what is happening? As you learn to do this, you will behold the most wonderful transformations taking place, because you draw to yourself that which you hold in your consciousness. When you hold in your consciousness your worth and your belovedness, you draw these things to you, giving them form and substance. Likewise, if you hold thoughts of failure and rejection and lack, you will draw those to you. What are you holding in your consciousness? What are you drawing to you? I just offer that question over. What are you holding in your consciousness? What are you drawing to you, and how do you notice this?
Are you wanting us to answer, Carolyn, or is this
Yeah,
a?
oh yeah, oh
I was,
yeah,
I was just
yeah.
like, let me just
And
check.
we can answer in the long or the short, we're a small group. We can really deepen in here. What are you holding in your consciousness, Rebecca?
Well, this week I had an opportunity to sit with one of my spiritual teachers, and through the course of the conversation, I became clear about a mindset that I have outgrown, but that's stuck with me. Um, so it's a default mindset that's in need of right sizing and healing. And it is this. Um, oh shoot. I've been trying to heal the mindset, and so it just left me.
It's gone. A default
Oh,
mindset.
a default. It was mm, it's something like this. I have to grind to prosper,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I, um, there was an even simpler sort of way, or to prosper I must grind, or something about that conflates um, arduous effort, not even just effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
But but a but an effort sort of fraught with intensity and struggle in order to prosper. Or another way of thinking of it is that to have I must do,
Yep. Yep.
and there've been some pretty profound consequences from that mental model, that mindset, that sort of default, and and some of it I inherited, right? I come from very hardworking people, right? We often tease in our family line that we can tell whether or not you're one of us or not by like the degree to which you work, right? So,
Wow.
um,
Wow.
we won't leave a job until we have a job. We are very, very hard working people. We might have several jobs, right? And we're sort of salt of the earth, not easily breakable. And we're going to take care of the responsibilities that need to be taken care of. Well, I can't speak for every family, but many of the families that I know, mine specifically, have their own culture, right, and
Yeah.
ethos. And this is a part of the culture of our family, is that we are hard workers. We're also change makers. So we also
Mm-hmm.
pride ourselves on doing difficult things um, for the sake of our people, right? And there's a long line in history of that. We will forsake ease and comfort to make sure that the whole has. And there's something noble in that because there's a commitment to service, but there's also something that's deeply unhealthy that comes out of contexts where our productivity determined our survival.
Mm-hmm.
And detangling the two is not an easy thing to do. And so I don't
Hmm.
have the circumstances and conditions of my forebears, but I did inherit many of their survival strategies. And I continue to animate those through my current set of choices, but it doesn't work for me.
But it
So,
doesn't work. You said it's not working for you.
yeah, not it. No. No, no.
Mm-hmm.
So, I forgot your question, Carolyn,
Yeah,
but I'm hoping I'm
you're
answering
answering
the
it.
question.
You're answering it impeccably. It's what are you holding in your consciousness? What are you
Yeah,
drawing to you?
yeah. And the shift there is for me, I have because I am, not I have because I do,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have because I am. I exist, right? And my experience of being is that it comes with provision, right? Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that the birds had to create the trees that they make their nests from, or had to create the worms that they eat. I certainly haven't had to manufacture the oxygen that I breathe or the light that photosynthesizes through the plants that makes food possible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't
Yeah.
have to grind to create that which supports and sustains my precious life. It has come, it's been embedded with this life, which is not to say there isn't a place for my effort, but my effort has been misplaced in many ways, thinking that that it in my survival, it is the driver of my survival. It certainly contributes to my well-being.
Mm.
But it is not the greatest determinant of my survival. So there's some right sizing of perspective that
Yes.
I'm learning, and it's a different shift I have because I am, not I have because I grind, right? And so that sort of shifting when you're like, oh, I woke up and I'm not in that culture anymore. Like there's the culture of my family. That culture was created in context, in a context of enslavement and over againstness, which was created in a context of capitalism and dehumanization of human life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I do have a particular political worldview, but the deeper spiritual setting, understanding is that built into being, built into being, built into the fabric of being, is our well-being and all that is needed for it. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing. You are from a lineage of change makers, in a lineage of hard workers and people that sacrifice for the community and that make change. We all see this. And my question for you, Rebecca, is do you think that you can continue this lineage of being change makers in service to the in servants of the community, or those who live in service to the community? Do you believe you can continue in this noble lineage without the grind?
Yeah, that's a good question, Carolyn. We'll see what I think. um, I have managed to surround myself with extraordinarily talented human beings who are deeply capable and able. And so part of my testing this is by, trusting that others have it too, right? That this sort of notion that
Yes.
it rests solely with me is it's not helpful and it's not true. So yeah, yeah. And I think the other piece of that is caring even more deeply for myself within the midst of the responsibilities, like my own well-being, and really, you know, nurturing and honoring that there will be there are mountains to climb. And so this isn't, I'm not hanging up my mountain climbing gear just yet, but I respect that there are plateaus and there are places to rest and to gain perspective and to take in the sights and to be with others, and that life isn't all mountain climbing. So maybe it's some proportionality there, right? I've been woefully out of balance, woefully, right? So you're right. I'm from a lineage of mountain climbers, so I'm gonna climb some mountains, right? I'm not gonna be on this call and be like, man, I'm giving up my mountain climbing. That's not happening. That's not the commitments I made in this life. However, life isn't all mountain, and that's the shift and also just trusting. Maybe it's trusting the mountain too. You know,
Yeah. Um, I want to draw this out just a little bit more and to offer the same to anyone else who's interested in this, interested in doing this work together live. I've heard there are those who do a lot and those who around them much is done, right? There's those who do a lot and those who around them much is moved into action. And I know for myself, Rebecca, I really relate to what you're speaking to. And a lot of my own healing work is at a similar nexus. And for myself, I am working with I am statements that shift the field. And I can imagine an I am statement for you that's something like, I am one who facilitates awe-inspiring change through resting in community, aligned collaboration, and divine provision. Something like that. And I'm wondering, how that way of looking at your change maker role lands.
that's beautiful, Carol. Yes,
Do
it
you,
lands
do you want me to
beautifully.
read it? Do you want me
No,
to read it again? No,
no,
you got
I
it?
got it. I got it. I got
Yeah,
it. Those are my words, but the heart
yeah,
of the matter, like the
yeah,
so if I were to say it either more simply, but it's the same
yeah.
essence, right? My days of by me are coming to an end, but through me is opening, like through me and those around me, because the what is what is emerging is so much bigger than me and my effort, right? It's so sort of
Mhm,
like a webbed wound. There's so many who are participating
mhm,
in the birthing process of
mhm.
different realities on this plane,
Yeah.
on this earth plane. And I feel that. I really, I really do. And I feel like I've hit the limit of what is possible by me, right? Which is a sign that it's time to set that state of consciousness down and being an open channel and trusting the flow and trusting the flow through a webbed existence, a
Mm,
wave-like existence, and not a particular one like particle, not as particle but as wave feels right, right, and it feels like what
mhm,
life is asking of me at this point in my developmental, spiritual developmental process. Yeah. So not by me, but through me and through others, right? Like it's a
mhm.
different, that's where I am.
And I see that shift in your world and in my own healing journey. I know that it's helpful for me to root in a different I am statement. Um, and just to keep rooting in that ultimately creates a different field, right?
Thank you, Carolyn, for the I am statements. I
Yeah.
felt I
Yeah,
felt
what's
that
moving in you?
I felt that shift. I would love if you repeated that statement or similar statement.
That when what I offered Rebecca is I am one who facilitates awe-inspiring change while resting in community, aligned collaboration, and divine provision.
Yeah, I just feel
And
a change in that, yeah, statement myself.
I often work with something like I am one who joyfully creates through through deep belonging and loving collaboration. You know, I'm one who creates with joy and ease through deeply invested collaborative relationships would be a good one for me. And in you know, centering in that really is part of my healing from a similar patterning of just like, yeah, I gotta push and work hard to make my for me, like to make life safe or whatever else, to ensure belonging, to ensure achievement. It really is a big shift to just be like, no, actually I joyfully create through loving, belonging, and friendship.
And I see you do that. Um,
Increasingly I'm doing it, sweet tea. I actually am doing it, and it's like the best shift in my life.
mhm. Good.
Increasingly I am doing it, like with a year in ceremony, like rather than being like, oh, this is my heavy lift, I have to do all this stuff, I do all this stuff. It's like, no, actually, I'm joyfully serving my greatest dreams.
Mm.
And, you know, I'm serving my greatest dreams and doing it with such joy and with such love and devotion that I'm attracting beautiful people to hold this with me.
Yeah, yeah.
And we are creating, it's not even we are creating, you know, through a loving field of relationship and through partnership with something greater than ourselves.
Yeah, when I had a little bit of change this week with some of the things that I was doing in my kind of habits and this new writing piece that I was talking about actually falls under this because writing about this character myself and what my dominant trait is that off the charts I have so much grit, but that's not what life's about, is having that much grit and perseverance. Um, it helped me at one point in time, but it doesn't make to be for myself like I'm trying to be a human being, not a human doing. And
Mm,
with all that grit and perseverance, it's a human, it's a mental you know, it's a
mm,
human doing. And even when I'm just thinking about just my daily life and the stuff I do, it seems like everything's it's an A to Z, and it's not just in balance. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
say more about that. Everything's an A to Z. Tell me,
well, for
what does
me,
that mean?
it means how do you just accomplish that task? It's like
Yeah, how do you get it
how do you
done?
get there? And
Yeah.
I know how to get there. And my mindset is, okay, I got that done. Now that then it's the next, go on to the next one. And so when am I going to feel like filled up that
Mm,
this isn't just getting tasks done or things done. So for instance, even like for me, it's hard to be like even gardening for myself. That's work. And for other people, it's like for my mother, this is her happy place. And a
mhm,
lot of people, I mean, like being out there in the garden and planting and everything else. And for me, I have, for me, it's work. And I
mhm.
come and I get it done and I feel good, but I don't know where other people getting all this joy out of that task or that activity. Okay, I guess activity. And that's just one example, but I just think about it's how I go about, maybe I go about doing things. Um, and it's
Totally.
something that my mindset it's a mindset that has been built. It's a muscle. and I want to switch that muscle. That's if you said, what do you want to shift? That's what I would like to shift, that everything isn't just like task oriented.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How, what would be the different consciousness that you might do some of the same things with? How would you describe that?
Hmm. Uh, um, I mean, what just came to mind, I said, I'm joyfully, I'm joyfully, I'm joyfully doing these. Maybe that's, yeah, I'm joyfully
Mm-hmm.
doing doing these tasks, um, putting joy into it. Mm, That's that's what I'm struggling to get to change.
Mm-hmm.
Be,
Mm-hmm.
be a human being instead of a human doing. And it's just a very
Mm-hmm.
hard thing for me, hard mindset
Mm-hmm.
shift because um, I was actually tested psychologically, had a psychological test probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I was just the person who owned the company was like, I've never seen anybody so off the charts on grit. Like it just, he was like, this is just
Mm-hmm.
absurd. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just something that is really a muscle that I've developed. And also I think, being a preemie and everything else, starting out at the beginning of life, having to fight to survive at 2.5 pounds and everything else. So who knows what
Sure.
is comes from
Well,
that.
so much praise for the grit that has led to this incredible life that you've lived. Sweet Tea, just so much praise for that. And I hear you also like wanting a fuller roundness in your personality. And I relate to this so much. Um, I don't know if I've had the grit that you have had, but I've always been living from the doing center, living from the to-do list. And how can we, you know, live from, I am joyously creating my most beautiful life, doing things I love. How can we live from that? Um, as opposed to like, I'm getting all my shit done, you know? Like, and how does it change, like how we set up our life, even what we're doing, when our identity starts to shift to one who engages in their most joyful and beautiful life. And this is the kind of things that I'm working with myself every day to reclaim health in my body. So, that's how I come at it, because when I fall into the old way, um, I'm just sick. So I have a spirit helper, I have a spiritual teacher with me all the time, which is called migraines. And if I fall into the old way, um, I'm in pain by the end of the day. So I want to hear from everyone here. I'm kind of going off my script because we're such a small group. It's just, from my perspective, really nice to hear from one another. Um, Let me read Rebecca's text. Leaning into this conversation reveals to me that the crux of my issue isn't being collaborative. At this point, everything I do in my life is a meaningful and loving collaboration. We see that. The heart of my issue is chronic lack of rest and lack of spaciousness. Thank you for sharing, Rebecca. Yeah. Yes, yes. Anyone else, Tracy or Eileen, anyone want to share something here about what you notice that you're holding in your consciousness, what you're noticing that you may want to change or shift? or what are you holding in your consciousness that's really working for you, can also fit here really well.
This morning in my meditation, I think it's the first parable in Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler that came to mind around change. I think she says everything is change and all change is possible, something to that effect.
Mm.
And that you are change, we are change. And I sat with that for a while. It's one of the first texts in the book. It kind of opens the book and it's very powerful. And as I watch the leaves fall and the colors change, I feel this I feel that I'm in a state of recognizing transformation and that all kinds of transformation is possible. And that feels very hopeful, especially when we're on the precipice of so much, I would say, like violent angst from the right and toxic masculinity. And I just like I feel this urge to just like topple and like push it over the edge and like watch everything change and that I can be part of that process in my
Mhm.
in my creativity and being just the way that I am. And that feels very dynamic in a way that like I haven't felt in a long time. I think I've been more in um a consciousness of like how like actually in somewhat in fear or in anxiety in how I will handle um change, especially when it's violent. And I I think that being surrounded by a lot of transformative peace and change has really nourished a kind of mindset and vision for the future that feels more hopeful.
Mm. Mhm. Beautiful. I love you saying how that you believe change can happen and that you can be part of it, right? And it's like, yeah, this change is happening. Change is happening, and the change is who we are, right? We are changing. And that's powerful. And you are changing. Thank you for sharing that, Eileen. Tracy, is there anything that you're feeling moved to share here on this question?
Actually, it's not. And it's not anything that I'm feeling led to share. And I was sitting here thinking like, why is it? I think it's because I'm in a lot of different spaces where we're doing a lot of like beautiful, amazing collective unraveling and communicating. And I'm facilitating a lot and ebbing and flowing through a lot of different things. And it's just I don't have anything that I want to access to offer right now. And I also don't want to like feel the nudge to like inauthentically grasp something to provide to the space, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like,
No
yeah.
need to
Yes.
jump in
Yeah,
here.
to like
Yeah,
be
we're just
performative with it. I'm just enjoying being in this space. And I apologize. I had to get my nieces ready to leave. So their mom was getting them when I was like moving through
oh
the previous portion
no.
when you were reading the reading. Um, But what I can say is just I'm in the in between of some beautiful, amazing things. And so I'm just trying to not, I don't want to say figure out how to compartmentalize which parts and also create the nucleus for the parts that are interconnected. And um pacing myself through those things.
Mhm.
But I am also a very much I'm a life path number 11. I'm a number 7. I am a Leo. I am group out of some, so I'm very much like so.
Yeah.
hmm And I actually like thrive in that energy um as well. But yeah, so that's all I got, y'all. The whole bunch of
Yeah.
things.
No worries.
That's a whole bunch of
Worries.
things.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad. I'm so glad to know a little bit more about you. And are you saying that you're Enneagram number 7?
Mm-hmm.
I love that science Enneagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, powerful, powerful. Enneagram Leo, life path 11. Thanks
Mm-hmm.
for sharing, dear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I want to share my moment of shift this week, and see where we want to go together. On Friday, I had been spending some days feeling a bit of like not wantedness and like what am I doing where I'm living? I don't even know if I want to be here. I'm not connecting with people. And then after I read that reading that I just shared, I recalled that that I that I just have been holding in my consciousness this field of not wantedness. And when you're holding that in your consciousness, it's really hard to make friends, right? It's really hard. And that that I just remembered that I can shift my own consciousness and totally shift the field. And so I spent some time just meditating on noticing, that I am loved, just remembering that I'm loved, that I belong, that I'm wanted, that people like me. And then that circle, that evening, I went to a kirtan being offered in Columbia, Missouri. I live near Columbia. And the person that was leading it is someone that I know only a little bit. And I was really enjoyed it. And and literally she stopped halfway through and just looked at me and said, Carolyn, you are beaming so much love at me. She's like, I can hardly take it, all the love that you're beaming at me. And I wasn't even conscious on my part. I wasn't consciously doing it. I was just living from my own belovedness. I was just intentionally showing up, being like, people here love me. And she was experiencing it as me beaming so much love at her. And then at the end of the gathering, she approached me and she's like, I'm really hoping I get a chance to spend more time with you and get to know you this year. And it was just such a shift. It's one of those moments where there's such an outer shift happens and you absolutely know it's because of the inner shift that you've chosen, right? And and I just felt so empowered. The next day I was like, oh, I actually can make as many friends here as I want to make. It's just not something I've chosen so far, right? If when I live from my belovedness, it just happens spontaneously and I can choose that. I know how to shift that. So I always feel um I always feel a healing in my being when I remember that I don't really have much control over what's happening in the world. I don't have control over whether this person likes me or doesn't like me. I don't have control over whether this person, works with me or this person doesn't work with me, but I have total control over the consciousness that I'm choosing. I have control over that. And when I remember that, when I say to myself, at this moment, I can choose to be my best self. I can choose to feel the feelings of not belonging, respect them, and also choose a different consciousness. Um, then then I feel liberated. I feel like I'm in a new world when I just remember at this moment, I can choose. I can choose to be my best self. I can choose to cultivate the frequency um, that I want. And one of the ways that I make this shift often is working with the meditations of Joe Dispenza. Does anybody else here know who Joe Dispenza is? Sweet Tea does. You know a little bit, Tracy? Yeah. And um, in those meditations, basically the theory behind the work is that our brain carries all of the our brain carries an archive of the past and all of our past emotions and feelings, right? And all of our past conditioning. And without intervening, we just keep acting that out, right? Each day. But if we choose deliberately um, to cultivate a vision of the future, then and to meditate upon it, to feel it with our body, then we start to lay pathways to live into that future. And that that's become a core practice for me, and that this is an example of. Um, any anyone here have any thoughts to share here around that or around my story?
I think that I've felt that way in terms of being able to shift that energy um, to align to whatever your goals are. So it goes back to A Course of Miracles, right? Wherever your mindset is pointing to, that's where a lot of whatever happens in your life is going to kind of manifest. So I see that you manifested that over the last few days, your new friendship with this woman. So it's a great example of manifesting through energy.
Yeah, thank you, Sweet Tea. And what I'm most commonly doing, and as I do Joe Dispenza meditations and these other things to rewire my brain, I want to share that what I'm most commonly doing is imagining myself doing my work with joy and ease, just doing my daily tasks with real lightness and ease, because that's been actually the hardest thing for me to shift. And playfulness and those kinds of things. Yeah. And 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 I'm really learning that to rewire these things in our brain, that even the biggest changes, like the biggest changes in our personality, they move on small hinges, right? Like the biggest door moving on a small hinge. And just doing little things, like if I normally would rush through lunch, but instead like eating it with total enjoyment, with total presence and enjoyment, that one change starts to rewire the whole pattern. or to be leading like this and just rest in like, oh, look at Tracy's sweet face. Look at Sweet Tea's sweet face. That one little choice can rewire my sense of like, oh, I'm here alone, I'm not wanted. So how do we notice those little things that we can do that change, that actually shift the trauma pattern at its root? We can actually shift trauma patterns by little changes that we're choosing to make in our life. But it's hard to make them unless we set an intention ahead of time and say to ourselves like, oh, I'm gonna lead Spirit Rising today, but I'm gonna do it a little differently. Right? This time I'm gonna notice how much people love me. I'm gonna greet my partner this morning, but this time I'm gonna do it a little differently. I want to do it with, I envision myself doing it with the enthusiasm of one who lives with the love of their life. So I'm curious, what can you imagine a small hinge that you might seek to make a change upon? A small change of behavior that could make a big shift.
I don't have an answer to that, but I do want to read this. It was so necessary. Like something just called me and drawn me, like drawn me, whatever. I was drawn to picking up and revisiting this Art of Life book. And I was like, oh, today I probably need to listen to Michael Beckwith, because I haven't really been watching a lot of Agape online communities, because again, on Sundays, I'm at my 12 step meeting. And so that's where I also pull a lot of my spiritual energy from. And it was just right on time. And it seems like this, what I've been reading and just revisiting really in this Art of Life book is definitely directly connected to the conversation and to what you're leading in this session, which is creating from within, utilizing the science of the mind, redirecting thoughts, affirmative statements, changing perspective, really engaging with everyday interactions as like sacred. In the another book that I was reading, The World Religions, when they were talking about Hinduism, there was just a specific line in one of the yoga pathways to God, where they talked about like really visualizing and interacting with every interaction as a sacred interaction, right? Like every interaction, everything that we are engaging with as a sacred interaction. And so I just want to read this little passage, and it helps me. And it helped me one specific time when I was in Cincinnati, and I was there to facilitate a workshop. It's the Survivors Ball, which I'm a committee member of and have like a part of the originators who facilitated this space. And this was the 4th annual one. And it has grown since the first one, when it was like 12 of us. It was like 150 something people in the room. And so a lot of, when you facilitate things or you have a certain energy, a lot of people, because of the beautiness in that, a lot of people are drawn to want your time or want your attention or want you to, like talk to them intimately. And you have like all of these, everybody is demanding this time from you. It's a beautiful blessing. But at this one specific time, there was a person who was also in recovery, like myself, who was also a poet. And I was outside just getting like a mental an emotional break, and he came out right then and he was like, can I tell you this poem, right? Can I tell you this poem? And from my previous experiences, I knew that his poems are long and beautiful, but they're long. And I was like, I felt myself, I felt my body, I felt like the irritation beginning to be like, I just want this minute, you know what I'm saying, to myself. And then I thought about this is a sacred opportunity. Like this is something that someone wants to share specifically with me because of what connects us to each other, the poetry, the recovery, you know, and he's trusting me with this. And it literally shifts my whole, like my shoulders, you know what I'm saying? Release the everything, all the tension in my body. It was like, no, this is a beautiful divine opportunity. Look at you, chosen one, that this person wants to share this with you. So that shift happened right in that moment because I changed my perspective to say, like, this is a sacred interaction, right? And so this it says and this is kind of going back to what you were talking about as well, to live in conscious communion with life. And you know, in this book, they are, when they're talking about life, they're literally talking about like the God, like God, and the life force energy that is circulating through all of us, even for a short time, will convert our fears into faith, our doubts into certainty, our hurt and sense of failure into something triumphant. There is a sublime and a divine hope for everyone who is willing to surrender, they say their self, to the great good, to the warm embrace of the oversoul, in whose lap, Emerson tells us, we lie as in the lap of an infinite intelligence. Every person has a subliminal depth of their being. We can plant our feet firmly on this faith and realize that we are divine beings now. The choice is ours. There is but one creative principle. It is always responding to us. There is but one power, and we are using it either negatively or affirmatively. The great affirmation
Mm,
is the affirmation of the goodness and the givingness of this power.
mm. Sort of says it all. Sort
Yeah.
of says it all. Is there a particular line that spoke to you there?
I think it's a combination. It's the culmination of all the lines. But I mean, if I had to pull one out, which is the longest line, it's just a lot of commas. It is to live in the conscious communion with life, and for me, that is whatever the moment brings, and not because I also get into this. I have this. I ebb and flow between like this, the science of the mind, or the what is it, the Course in Miracles. Like I often ebb and flow between these um high level of consciousness, and you know, you call and draw everything into you and you attract your life. But I also am a community organizer that fights against patriarchy and white supremacy and all of these things that created a lot of the reality that people live in. So to say that you can think your way out of this impoverished community, you know what I'm saying, and not be conscious of those things. I go back and forth with that. But I think for me, the part about to live in conscious communion with life, like communion is again like a sacred act. So understanding that the beauty and vastness of life, like I can commune with that with very great intention, and also with everything else that the world brings. I can commune with that same energy with intention, and like use my internal resources and my expansive like knowledge and wisdom and spirit to not necessarily like be dismissive of it, but not let it overpower me or overwhelm me, but also not do like the toxic positivity or spiritually bypass my own emotions or the hurt that I feel that is being transmitted through other people's negative energy and their dominance and control. So it's just showing up for life very authentically and like very intentionally, whatever the situation, the circumstances, the interaction, the conversation, the music, the energy, whatever it is that's presenting itself, and allowing myself to kind of like filter through it to see how I want to position myself around it, if that makes sense.
Mhm. You belong here so much, Tracy. And
Yeah.
you know, we are very much a community that is rooted in social change and oppression awareness. And it
Mhm.
is this complex thing to hold, like how real and harsh and deadly oppression is, and yet that we are empowered creators who can create beauty in the
Mhm.
midst of this, right? And to hold like one with one hand and the other, without denying either.
Mm-hmm.
I doing so powerfully.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll close us early today with some words from a book. I love this book. It's about creating through the chakras, and it kind of leads you through the chakra system and how you co-create. And I'll just close us with these words. She says, "Our potential, our highest self, is drawing us towards a more thriving life, a more evolved reality. We can imagine that the divine herself is pulling us into her, towards oneness with her. Evolution we might think of as God's way of making more gods on earth. You are part of this plan, and your destination is clear: to become a god or goddess in your own universe, a master co-creator doing your part, creating a larger social system that evolves us all. That we're called to be doing this. The divine plan wants to be birthed into reality on earth through us. And we're doing that. And all these little shifts that we create, we are doing that. And all these choices to act from our communion with the greater life. So thank you, beloveds, just for sharing this time together, for sharing the wisdom of our hearts. I'm so glad we got to send you off, Eileen. I'm so glad we got to have these sacred moments together on a Sunday. Blessings. Do we all want to unmute ourselves and give our final farewells and blessings to each other's day?
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Yeah, thank you, Carolyn, for facilitating to everyone for joining this conversation. I love small, intimate gatherings as much as I value and appreciate larger ones. Eileen, I just want to say, like, I just hope that you have the most beautiful, explorative, unearthing time on Singapore. And you're so deserving, and the land and the people are going to be so blessed because you made the decision and took whatever steps was necessary for you to get there, And so I'm going to be, if with consent, I would definitely be taking you to my altar. And I've been home, so going home and I'm like getting emotional, and I just wish everything for you, and for everyone that you interact with. And I know that everybody is going to be blessed, including us, because you made the consistent decisions to take this explorative journey.
Yes, 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 yes.
Ashe.
Yes,
Sure.
yes. So it is.
I'm so
Blessed
appreciative
day.
of the beautiful teachings today and gathering with you all.
Ashe. Have a beautiful day, sweet tea.
Thank you, you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Eileen, when you get back?
I'll be back the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Okay, okay. Well, let me know if you want to share with us next December, on the second Sunday of December, okay? Okay. Love you all. Take
Okay,
care.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.